So Draymond Green has declined his player option and is testing free agency. And it's interesting because did you guys see the other day? I made a video on it just because it interested me. But there was a tweet put out by NBA Central that one of the sports books, I don't know which one it was. I can't remember. Maybe it was betonline.ag, which I know isn't like the most official sports book, but that's nor here nor there. And again, this is hearsay, but Draymond Green declines the player option, and the sportsbook put out their betting, like the favorites for betting odds on where all these guys would land, and Draymond was put with the Jazz. Okay, and this didn't tell if it was for this offseason or for next offseason. It was just saying that like teams for certain players, what their most likely next team was going to be. And Draymond's declining his $27.5 million player option with the Warriors. So he's going to be testing unrestricted free agency for the first time in his career. And he previously was a restricted free agent in 2015. And the Warriors are motivated to re-sign Green, though he will explore free agency and sign in trades. So with that being said, we have heard that the Jazz are the betting favorites to land him. We've heard him connected to Dallas. We've heard him connected to Detroit, where he's from. And who wouldn't want Draymond Green? Obviously, there's select teams and cultures that would be able to handle him. Obviously, the first one's the mine. Dallas would be able to handle him. I think Miami would be able to handle him. I think Portland would be able to handle him. I think Utah would be able to handle him. I think Boston would be able to handle him. I think Brooklyn would be able to handle him. I don't think a super young team would be able to handle him. There needs to be a veteran winning now. We know the Lakers, LeBron and him are business partners. So that one's always, a connection there that people always love to bring up. And I do wonder because Draymond Green, I think he's a good basketball player. If he was a defensive player of the year candidate this past season, and last season, I don't know if you would say it was this year, but last season it was Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And he's still a good, productive basketball player, okay, even on the offensive side. This past year, he shot back-to-back years, he shot over 52% from the field. He shot 30% this year from three, dished out back-to-back years, seven assists, grabbed 7 boards, averaged a little over a steal a game, a little under a block a game, 8.5 points, which was his most points since 2017-18. So he's still a productive guy, okay? He's been reinvigorated. And even if you don't like his podcast, he's still out there doing what needs to be done to win basketball games, in my opinion. And I think that's huge. I think that's something that's overlooked with Draymond, and people act like he's this buffoon that doesn't help teams win, which if you think that you're a casual at basketball, I don't mean to say that, but he's a genius, okay? He's a basketball genius. He has such high basketball IQ, how he sees the game, how he has the foresight to see how things happen, okay? He's a coach out on the floor, how he's able to reinvigorate and get his teammates to buy in on defense. It's second to none. There's very few players in the history of the game who are there. There's a reason why he's a Hall of Famer. The work ethic, the way he instills and imposes his will into his teammates and against his opponents. It's just incredible to watch. So for me, I really hope the Warriors don't lose him, and I expect him to stay a Warrior, but these are all teams that he could potentially go to, and I think that's definitely going to be interesting to see where he could, land. And it's going to be an interesting few weeks for the Golden State Warriors as they evaluate everything that's happening around them with their new general manager and president of basketball operations and Mike Dunleavy. And, with Jordan Poole potentially being traded, we heard the Chris Paul rumors. So again, guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think is going to happen, as it's definitely an interesting time in the NBA. Let me hear your thoughts. That's the video, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.